Hi, this is Bob from Hobby Concepts, and today I've got the Beier wireless trailer modules. Now, a couple weeks ago I did a video on the infrared unit, but this is going to be a redo of that because we've got some new Sound Teacher software that makes this unit work even better. And also, we've got the Bluetooth unit. Now, after I did the infrared unit, people were saying, well, why should I use the Bluetooth? Why should I use the infrared? What's the difference? How do they work differently? So in this video I can show you how each one works, compare them, show you the advantages and disadvantages of each. Both of them are fantastic. They have 4 servo outputs, they have a motor output, they have up to 16 light outputs. So you can pretty much do anything you want in your trailer with these. They're very easy to set up. I think you'll really like them. They're both awesome. I'll be doing a trailer full install on one of these modules here pretty soon. But today, let's just kind of go through these modules and see how they work and how to set them up. Let's get started. So let's see what I've got here as I get into this. The first thing is I have the infrared trailer light module, and I have the Bluetooth trailer light module. So we're going to be looking at both of those today, as I mentioned, redoing the infrared module. I've got the LED 8 test piece, which is really awesome. Here's an SFR1 with the LED 8 plugged into it, and that is really nice because it's got built-in LEDs so you can test all your light outputs without hooking anything up. Very nice piece of equipment. I've got my trusty FlySky PL18 EV radio, which I'm using for this series. You can use any radio, of course. And I'm also going to show the LM-MS magnetic on-off switch for the Bluetooth unit. We'll get into that later. But let's take a look at these units first. So I've got the infrared unit and the Bluetooth unit. Now, if you take a look at them, same size, same shape, same number of outputs, here, power, motor, everything basically is the same on these two units except how they communicate with the host Beier system, either the SFR1 or the USM-RC-3. So let's take a look at the IR unit first. It comes with a 8 output 10 core cable so you can hook up your LEDs. It comes with a Bluetooth transmitter and receiver unit. So the receiver unit plugs into the IR module, and the transmitter plugs into the SFR1. So basically comes with everything you need. Now I have made a little power plug here to plug in, and I'm going to be using a 2-cell LiPo, and I'll use the same power plug on both modules. Now on an actual installation of a trailer, I would put a on-off switch in here so I can turn the trailer completely off without unplugging the battery. And later when I install these in some trailers, I'll show that. But other than that, today I'm going to hook this up and we'll go through it. So let's go through the infrared unit first, and then we'll go through the Bluetooth unit. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is, and I've gotten this question since I produced that first video, is why would you use the Bluetooth? Why would you use the infrared? What's the difference? You know, why would I pick one over the other? And a very good question. Okay, the infrared unit is less expensive. Number one reason to pick it. It's also very easy to hook up. You have a transmitter and receiver. One goes in the truck, one goes in the trailer. When they get close to each other, they talk, and that's all there is to it. The nice thing about that is when you drive the truck away from the unit, the lights in the trailer shut off. So for a normal trailer that just has, you know, stop lights, tail lights, maybe some marker lights, and a few things like that, that you want to shut off when you drive away, this unit is perfectly good. Does the job just fine, a little bit less expensive. Okay, the Bluetooth unit has a Bluetooth transmitter that hooks up to your SFR or your USM, has a much longer range. Okay, The IR unit, they have to be within, you know, like that of each other for it to work. This one, the range is several meters, or, you know, 100 feet, I don't know, it's a long ways. So when you drive the truck away, the unit will still work. Now that is an advantage if you've got a trailer that you want to operate things when the truck's not close to it. This unit is the one to get. A little bit more expensive, but the flexibility there is really good. And you can turn this on and off a couple different ways, which we will talk about when we go through that unit. Okay, I'm going to go ahead with the IR unit. I'm going to hook up some power, and we'll come back and show you how to set the software to make this work with your SFR or USM. Before we actually get started on using the software, you want to make sure your sound teacher is version 1.3. If it's 1.2, you need to update it. And in order to do that, you just find your icon to start it. You right-click it, and then you click Run as Administrator. And we'll say yes. And then up here under File, we'll click File, and then check Now manually for updates. And it'll tell you here if there's anything that needs to be updated. And we're on version 1.03c, and that's the version that they've got, so we're completely up to date. So make sure that you have the most up-to-date software before you do the light modules to take advantage of all these new features. So you can see here I plugged in my infrared receiver to the IR receiver port. I've got a power lead. I'm going to plug a LED 8 test strip in, so we have some LEDs to show our outputs. Now the infrared transmitter plugs into the SFR in this end switch right here. It's marked IR on the side. That's pretty self-explanatory. And now we're just about ready to go. We do have a new software thing, and that's the reason for this new video, and I want to show you that. So now in the SF1 sound teacher, there is a new tablet or tab, couple tabs here. So if we go to the configuration general, we're going to find a new tab here called light module, and you can check between the IR module and the Bluetooth module. So we're going to check the IR module, and then we're going to transfer the data, and that will set up the SFR1 so that the infrared connection will work. Very simple. Bluetooth would be the same way, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So let's switch back to the modules and we'll see how it works. So here's my SFR1. You can see I've got the infrared transmitter plugged into the IR space, and I've got a test strip here. So on my radio, if I turn on or off my headlights, see my headlights go on and my emergency flashers go on. So I'm going to go ahead and leave those on. And now we'll take the infrared module. I'll grab a battery here and plug it in. And we'll get these infrared units close to each other. And you can see now that the trailer will be a duplicate of the truck. So we turn off the headlights, turn off the flashers. You can see they both turned on. Turn on the headlights, turn on the flashers. They both turn on. You can see that the connection here is quite stable. But if you get too far apart, the lights go off. See how they're getting kind of testy. So they work fine, you know, 10 inches apart, all kinds of angles, and they'll work good. So basically, that's all you do. There's no other programming required. Every output here is duplicated on the trailer. So that's really super easy. Now you'll also notice that it has 4 servo outputs. So we can control servos or speed controls. We can also control a motor.
For example, let's say you have a trailer with fold down ramps and you want a servo to do that. Well, we can plug a servo in here. So I've got a servo. I'll take the power off of this. We'll plug a servo into number 1 position. And we'll apply power again. Now we do have to go back into our software, our SFR1 software, to set it up so this servo will work. Okay, in our software, we go to configuration, and then way over here we go to light module, which I guess I've already got checked, and then we have some tabs. We have light module servo 1 and 2, light module servo 3 and 4, and light module motor. So if we want to work servo 1, we'll just go down here to direct control with, and I'll use prop 13 because I've already got that set up in my radio. If we were going to do servo 2, we would set that here. Servo 3 and 4 we'd set here, and a motor we would set here. So we've got that done. We'll transfer the data. We'll go back to our unit and see how that works. Okay, we have our SFR1, we have our infrared module. That's the only connection between the two. Our lights are still working. And now we have a servo that works off of the IR module. It's as simple as that. So that basically covers the infrared module. It works really good. It's super easy. You notice I didn't have to plug any programming in or anything else. It just duplicates the outputs of the SFR1, and you can set up some servos. It also has a road train adapter so that you could have like 2 trailers or 3 trailers or 4 trailers together. But that's a feature I'm not going to go into today. So, very nice little module, works great. Probably cover 80% of the trailers out there as far as what you want to accomplish. And very, very easy to hook up. You plug in the IR transmitter, set one tab in your software, and away you go. So, now let's move over to the Bluetooth module. So here's my Bluetooth module, which I prepped exactly the same as the IR module. I've got a power plug and I've got an LED 8 test strip. I'm using the same SFR that I used before. So I want to first plug in my little Bluetooth transmitter. Now this transmitter comes with the module, and the receiver part is built into the module, so there's no separate receiver required. I'm going to power this down. Always a good habit. Yeah, I know the signal's lost. I'll shut this off. Always a good idea when you're plugging and unplugging things to Beier equipment to power them down first. So this has 2 plugs. It has one plug with an orange wire and one plug with a plus and minus wire. So the orange wire plug goes in the IR spot on the SFR1 or the USM. And then the power plug goes anywhere you can get power. You could even plug it into the receiver to get power. But I'm going to plug it into one of these open ports here to get power. And now that unit is powered on. So let's go back to the software and set this up. So to set this up, we go to configuration, and then way over here on the general tab, way over here is the light module, and we click the one that says Bluetooth, and we transfer the project data, which I actually have already done. So that's all there is to set that up to transmit. We'll go back to the module. So we've got our Bluetooth trailer module, and our SFR is turned on. So now if I turn on some lights, you'll see they're duplicated. Hazards, they're duplicated. Right turn, left turn, Everything's duplicated. You can see that this unit works anywhere, long ways away from the transmitter module. So for trailers that you're going to park and you want to operate, this is really a cool system. Now let's take a look at some of the other features that are available with this, including the servos, but also how to turn it on and off, because you drive your truck away, you might want to turn the lights off, and there's a couple ways to do that. So first, let's set up a servo. Alright, to set up a servo, we do it the same as the other units. We go to Configuration, over here to Light Module, and then we'll set it to Prop 13, which is my go-to servo control, and transfer the project data. Exactly like the IR unit. Matter of fact, it's exactly the same screen, and all the functions duplicate with either unit both ways. So you can see I plugged in a servo to servo number 1. I've got my radio here, and my servo works just like it should. None of this is connected to anything else, so it's all in the trailer, and super neat. Okay, now what if you want to drive away from it and shut the trailer off? Okay, there's a couple ways to do that. Let's take a look at it. Okay, to hop into the other menu, we're going to go to Configuration, and we're going to pick out a prop that we want to do something. We'll go with prop 12 here. Click the down arrow, and now we have a whole new, in the 1.3 version, a whole new bunch of settings here. So we have the LM, which would be the trailer light module. We have servo positioning, motor up and down, rotating beacon, flasher, chase light, transmission off, and then we have the road train activation. So if we click this, okay, and click OK, we just put transmission off on prop 12. Now what that does is that turns off the Bluetooth transmission, which would then shut off the lights on the trailer. Pretty slick. We're going to transfer the project data. Let me plug that in and transfer it, and we'll see how that works in real time. Alrighty, so here's our trailer unit, and you can see that we'll turn off the flashers and the headlights, but they're both duplicated, and that's awesome. The little trailer is all completely separate, but if we want to turn the trailer lights off like we parked it, now we hooked prop 12 to this switch right here, and you'll notice the trailer lights are now off. We can turn them back on. So all this does is deactivates the Bluetooth and activates it again. No other parts are required, super easy. You just got to have some extra channels on your transmitter to do it. But that's how you can have the trailer turn off when you're not hooked to it if you want, or turn it back on. And fantastic feature, which I will demonstrate later and when I install one of these in a trailer. There's another way to turn it off if you don't have enough channels on your radio, and that's this little devil, which is a magnetic sensor. So you've got a magnet and you've got a little sensor here, and you can plug this into the unit. There's a slot here called magnet sensor, which this would plug in, and then when the magnet is close to this, the lights turn on, and when the magnet goes away, the lights turn off. So in a very simple installation, you could put this in your truck. When you drive away, it turns off. Obviously the setup with the transmitter is better because you can turn it on and off whenever you want, but again, if you don't have the extra channel, then this works quite nicely. You do need the LM. They make actually a LM BT software that's kind of like a mini sound teacher to change the settings on this board. You don't need it for what we just did. Matter of fact, you don't need it for anything except setting up this sensor. And let me just show it to you really quick because it's pretty easy. This is the LM Teacher software, and you can see it has a checkbox here, use magnetic sensor. Okay, and then you just plug in your data cable and transfer it to the unit, and your magnetic sensor will now work. I'm not going to do that right now, but that's how you do it, and it's pretty simple. So I'm not going to save the changes, and we're going to put our SFR software back up there. So there we go. That's how those units work. Well, there we go. The infrared trailer light module and the Bluetooth trailer light module with the infrared transmitter or the Bluetooth transmitter. Both of them just work fantastic, and you get solid bulletproof wireless trailer lights that work just great. Plus many other functions, up to 4 servos, motor control. You can basically control any kind of trailer you want with either one of these modules. Now, as always, you can get the manuals for free. Just go to hobbyconcepts.net, look up the light module, and down in the description there'll be a link to download the module and also a link to download the software for either of these two if you need that, but you don't need it for most applications. So these are great little units. If you've got Beier SFR1 in your vehicle, this is absolutely the way to do trailer lights. And we'll do a video in the future that'll do a complete installation and show you how, but the basics are right there, pretty simple. So there you go. I love this Beier equipment. I'll keep doing videos on it and keep updating as we get updates from them. I hear there's going to be a major software update on the SFR1 and the USM3 coming maybe Christmas time, so we'll keep an eye on that and update you when it gets here. And that'll be free for people that have already got the system. So great stuff. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Give me a thumbs up. It helps with the YouTube searches. And yes, don't worry, I know I've been doing a few Beier videos, but I have got a lot more trucks to build, so we'll look for a truck build here very shortly. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Do you want some more whipped cream, Winston? Huh?